All right, it's Greed Omega and Jita81. We're doing a quick recap of the Arkham series, Arkham Asylum. We're not going to really touch on much, neither Arkham City. We're going to talk mainly about the Arkham Knight, which is the current gen entry.
Spoiler warnings for anybody who has not played the game or seen the game, but by now everybody should have played the game at least once or seen it on YouTube.
If you haven't, kill yourself. All right, cool. All right, let's go to the storyline, right? The storyline, we're talking about Arkham Knight. What do you think about it?
The storyline was pretty good. I like the story. I like the length of the story. I did notice some plot holes dealing with Arkham Knight character itself and him being spoiler warning Jason Todd, and how, you know, basically you just once you find out who he is and you fight him, or you don't really even fight him, but we'll touch on that in a second. That he basically just comes to help you at the end with really no explanation or reason. Just a lot of plot holes to me at that point.
Yeah, how about this? How about the fact that the Arkham Knight isn't the main villain, but the game is called Arkham Knight? You know, it goes into the, you know, the main character that is the villain is the Joker, and you know, it is what it is. He was the character that was the main villain in the entire series, and I think the way that they implemented him in this one was pretty in a way it's genius, you know, bringing him back and not really having him there because he's actually dead. He's just in Batman's mind. I thought it was kind of ingenious, and the story itself was pretty good. I think the story itself was pretty good.
Yeah, I think that was kind of cool too, but like I told you before, we have spoken about this before, I just kind of, I enjoyed the Joker being in this, but I kind of always just felt like they overused him in the series too much. Like, you know, we understand he's Batman's one of the biggest characters, biggest villains, and to me, it's just like, damn, is Joker going to be the focus point of every single game? Don't really make sense.
Yeah.
So I kind of feel like, you know, that kind of takes away from the game. It takes away from the other characters. You don't really see no character development in other villains.
Yeah, it's true, because the Joker and the Penguin, I'm sorry, not the Joker, Two-Face, Penguin, Firefly, all these other villains that are in the game, they don't really get their own, like, you got the missions, the what do you call them, the most wanted missions. They all get their little feature on it, but it's not really a part of the main campaign, because you don't really need to do those to beat the game. And
then they basically don't really give you any in-depth character development of Two-Face or Penguin. They just basically, like, I don't know, if you want to call them mini bosses or something, you know, they just basically, you know, just they're a filler. Basically, you don't really get no character development. They don't really tell you why they doing it. They're just doing stuff just to do it, basically.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so combat, what improvements were made? I would say pretty much same thing, except I felt that the combat was a little weaker in this one compared to the previous ones, where they felt to flow better when you incorporate the gadgets. In this one, it felt like it was a little more of a chore to bring the gadgets into the forefront.
I pretty much just felt like they just copy and pasted the same battle system on again. They didn't really put no real thought or real effort to retweak it and make it a little more better, maybe flow a little better, even make it even a little more fun. It's pretty much, if you played the other series, you pretty much could jump right into the combat and really not notice a difference of anything, except for the fear takedown, which is a new feature, and if y'all played the game, you understand what it is. But it's basically, to break it down for y'all really quickly, it's basically almost like a stealth attack. It slows time down, goes to bullet time, and Batman can basically take out enemies with one hit. It starts at 3. When you max it out, it goes up to 5, and you basically can take down the enemies. Now,
yeah, you get it. You get through the fear meter. You got a meter you got to fill up, and then once that fills up, you can do the takedown. The fear takedown.
Right with that is that they made the activation button the same as the attack button, the punch button. So sometimes what used to happen to me, when I drop down behind the enemy and just go to hit them, the fear would trigger, the fear attack would trigger, and I would get stuck doing that. So that was they kind of messed it up with the controls as far as that.
Yeah, I mean, again, the combat was meh, because, you know, been there, done that. All right, so we're going to talk about the boss battles. The boss battles, clearly to both of us, they were a letdown. In the previous installments, I felt that they did them better. You don't really get to fight them in this one. It was more like you just jump in and you know, do a quick takedown or you know, stealth, get them. You know, yeah, it was no real fights other than that one with the Goliath in like the middle of the game or so.
Yeah, it's probably the best one in the studios. That's probably one of the best boss fights. You know, you get to do the tag team. It looks really cool. But like he was saying, yeah, the boss fights is really a big letdown. Like, just for example, after all the crap Scarecrow put you through, at the end of the game, spoiler warning, I was really looking forward to, you know, kicking his ass. And you don't even get to. So that really let me down right there. As far as the boss fights, just felt like quick time events.
Yeah. They weren't fleshed out like they were in the previous games. So definitely that's a con in terms of, you know, the whole grand scheme of things. The boss battles were weak in this game. Batmobile, in my opinion, horrible. You know, the driving was terrible. The fact that you have to use it is terrible. The battle one, the tank version of it was kind of weak too. What'd you think about it?
I had the same gripe. I don't like to be forced to use things, but if you are going to force me to use the Batmobile in certain parts of the game, try not to force me to do it a million times. Because that takes away from the game, it makes it repetitive, it makes me not want to even drive around in the Batmobile. I'd rather just glide through the city, because by the time you do the Riddler's Most Wanted missions, which is designed to punish you in the Batmobile,
yep,
you really hate it.
Yep.
And so I think the Batmobile, the coolest part of the Batmobile is the cinematic when it came out. And when you dive, you could dive off the building and call it on the ground and land inside of it. That's the coolest thing the Batmobile added to the game. Other than that, it pretty much took away from the game.
Yeah, just the cinematic pretty much is the cool thing about it. Okay.
That's about it.
All right, so pretty much we both don't like the Batmobile because of the fact that they make you use it so much, and you know, the controls are not that great. All right, so let's go down now to the most wanted challenges. The most wanted challenges is basically trying to capture these other villains that are not the Scarecrow or Arkham Knight. What's your take on that?
Too repetitive. Basically, every single mission in the most wanted challenge is the same until you get to the end of the case. And then, like we were saying before about the boss battles, it's basically a boss battle, which is a quick time event. You hit the button one time, boom, fight's over, case closed, you drive them to lock up. So I definitely get that. Definitely gets a thumbs down for me too.
Yep. It felt like it was just filler and just there to try to give you more bang for your buck, but ultimately I think it felt flat. What's next? The game length. What do you think about the game length? Did you think it was the right length? Too long? Too short? What do you think?
Well, if you want to just talk about main campaign, if you don't do the side missions, I think that the length for that is good. Now, if you're doing the side missions, you want to include that, then the game's too long. Because the side missions and the trophies and all that stuff is just fillers, it's repetitive, and it makes the game too long. Well, I do believe if you do not do all the side missions and you just go straight through the campaign, you probably get a good 8 hours of gameplay, and you could probably beat it in one day if you have the time. So I think I give that pretty much a thumbs up. I think it was pretty decent, average for, you know, an action game.
Good length.
You don't expect them to be too long, 8 to 10 hours. You know, I think that was pretty good.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. I think the game was a decent length. Side missions just, you know, dragged it on. I think they're not even that fun. And not to mention the Riddler challenges, which were just ridiculous. 243 is far too many. And they're also repetitive, just like everything else. So yeah, game length was okay. They could have done a lot better with the length when you include everything else, but it seems like they were just trying to give you more bang for your buck. Now DLC, what do you think about that? How was the DLC handled, and you know, what do you think overall?
Once again, I think they kind of gypped people, like we was touching on with the DLC and the season pass. I think they should have took out the most wanted missions and added the DLC in the game for free, and made it whereas you can play, when you're playing as Batman, it kind of switches to the Red Hood, and you can see what, you know, happened in the past, and then they'll switch to Batgirl, and you can see that one, and then switch to Harley Quinn, and you can see how she's gonna attack the Batman. I think they should have did it like that. So the DLC definitely got a big thumbs down from me, a big for me.
Yeah, agreed. They definitely should have made the DLC missions available. as part of just the normal campaign. I think they just, yeah, money grubbing. I know that this is the last one in the series and they're trying to make money off of it, but it seems like they're trying to screw the customer on that, giving us crappy repetitive missions instead of giving us good story content. All right, yes. So I think overall we did a quick job of covering the game. What about this game versus the other ones? What's your take on this game versus the other ones?
I say if you want to play a decent Batman game that's open-ended, go buy Arkham City.
Arkham City. I think I agree with that. I agree with that. Arkham City felt to be a little more cohesive than this one. All right, so I guess we're down to review score time. What would you give it?
I'm going with a 6. 6. Like the Batmobile and the repetitive of it. Like I said, the other 2 games in the series definitely 10s in my book, and I believe people just rated this game as a 10, or a lot of people went out and bought it just because it had the Arkham series name on it, just like the Call of Duty fanboys. I know y'all probably hit me in the comments, but go ahead. You know, if y'all stop buying crap, you'll force them to make a better game.
Agreed. All right, well, my score on this is 7.5. I think overall it's a decent package, and if you're a fan of comic book superheroes, I think it does okay. You know, the ending was pretty weak, and for you to get the proper ending, you've just got to slodge through a whole bunch of junk. So 7.5 is actually, I think, in a way, is being a little generous for this game.
Yes.
So yeah, overall, I guess that's a 6.75 combined. Sounds crazy for this game.
If you agree with us or disagree, you know, leave some comments. Let us know what you think. I just want to give a quick shout out to my sponsors, fullscreen.com and freedom.tm. They are my sponsors, and if you're interested, look them up. And if you like into gaming and streaming, they can help you out with that.
All right, yeah. So we're going to be doing a couple of other videos similar to this one, talking about games we played recently. And we may even do some other things regarding just the gaming industry, or maybe even other real life things. We'll see what we do about that.
The next one coming is going to be Warframe MMO, and based on how it's a free-to-play game. You don't need to pay to win because you can farm everything. And since Green doesn't play too much, and I do, I play it every day. I think we can get a good perspective from both of you. So that might be our next video.
Yeah, that's definitely something you guys should be looking forward to. Again, this is Greed Omega on PSN, on YouTube, Greed on Life.
This is Jeter81 on PSN, and on YouTube, Glenn Jeter Williams, GTER, the same way as my PSN is spelled. So on that note, I guess we'll be signing off.
Yeah, so any questions, leave them. Leave the questions in the comment section. Subscribe, favorite, then we will be back at you. All right.